Welcome back to a video about Bill C-21. Now, I really didn't think I would be making this video, but I figured it's enough of an important update that it actually deserves its own video, not just a community post. Now, yesterday, I posted this community post, which you can read if you want, basically saying that it appears the RCMP has given a softer vision or a softer reading of Bill C-21's new prohibited definition than we initially feared. Now, this is all due to change from here until forever. There's a whole bunch of definitions in C-21 that need to be read by the RCMP and law enforcement and determined that way. We simply don't know how far it will actually go because this bill was a crapshoot, right? It was not a well thought out bill. Even from an anti gun perspective, it was not a well thought out bill. It was just a political act. So, if you need catching up, Bill C-21, among many other things, introduced this definition that would ban some semi automatic rifles. Now, it has to be a firearm that is not a handgun, so it could be a rifle or a shotgun, has to discharge centerfire ammunition in a semi automatic manner, so no 22s or any other rimfires. It has to have a detachable magazine and there has to be a magazine that exists with 6 or more cartridges somewhere in the world. And this is the very, very, very important part, is designed and manufactured on or after the day in which C-21 got royal assent. Now, if you look up here, C-21 got royal assent on December 15th, 2023. Now, a few weeks ago, or a week ago, this was posted to the Canada Gun subreddit. And it was the Rhineland FG9, which is an FG42 that uses a remake of the FG42 that uses 9mm and Glock magazines and Colt magazines. There are different versions of it, but the important thing is that this got an FRT a couple of days after, I believe it was the 17th of December, it got an FRT. So that was the first sign that, okay, it wasn't as feared that if it didn't have an FRT on December 15th, it was never going to get one. It appears that the RCMP, instead of the RCMP designating designed as meaning has an FRT, they mean somewhere else down the design process will count as designed. Now, the Rhineland FG9 has existed in the US for, I think, at least a couple of years at this point. So it's pretty easy for it to say that it was designed before. And now today, this came out. It was a FRT update for the Spectre Ballistics 180B match. Now, this is their lower 180 receiver. They've actually been selling their match receiver for months, I think over a year at this point. But they only, I guess, just now recently, sometime in the last little bit, or maybe the RCMP took this long to actually give it an FRT. And it's non-restricted. And of course, this is dated. This got its FRT on what is today, January 25th. So, where is the line? We don't really know. As I laid out on this, how far back will the RCMP consider designed? Like, we don't know. It could mean that it was just simply sold in another country, or it was sold in Canada before and hasn't gotten its FRT yet, because both the FG9 and the 180B were designed and sold in Canada and other countries before it made it to Canada. So we know that is the bare minimum definition, which means if we go on the Canada Gun subreddit, let me find it real quick. Where is it? There's been a lot of these posts of stuff we're seeing. The Hellion. Now, apparently, the Springfield Hellion is due to get an FRT. this guy says the people at the booth said they have an FRT that should be here in 6 months-ish, something like that. Now, the Hellion, like the FG9 and the 180 Match, is a gun that's already existed, right? It's existed in the United States for, I think, at least 2 years at this point, and the full auto version, the VHS2, has been in Croatia and other militaries for longer than that, 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. So it's another example of a gun that already exists, and it will get an FRT based on what we've seen before, which is very exciting. And that actually goes for a lot of the stuff we see at SHOT. This GSG-9 is maybe going to make it, maybe not. It does. The GSG-9 has problems with MP5. If they say it's a derivative of the GSG-16, they might be able to get away with it. We don't know. Whereas some others, going back a few days too early, which, by the way, this 1022 version of the Desert Tech prohibited. It's so fucking stupid. And also the Scorpion Evo in 22, this is prohibited by name by the May 2020 OIC. So don't expect this either. There are some generic black rifles. So, okay, so the LC carbine. Ruger announced an LC carbine in 45 ACP. Now, there is no FRT. Oh, no, there is. So there's a restricted FRT for the 5.7 version. The 45 ACP shouldn't need to get an FRT, but if it does, it should be able to link back to this, and it should be able to get an FRT because it was already designed previously. Some other stuff includes this miscellaneous black non-AR rifle from Zenith. If this is a question of, can they prove it was designed before December 15th? Now, I don't believe, or I don't know if this is for sale. Let's just, maybe it is for sale, but let's say hypothetically it hasn't gone up for sale yet. Does the fact that they have ramped up their tooling and their manufacturing to make it indicate that they have reached a final design and the RCMP will accept it? Maybe. Does the fact that the final version of the CAD file or whatever software they're using to design it was made before? Maybe that's enough. We don't know. Maybe simply advertising it, or maybe the building of a prototype counts as designed before. We really don't know. So this could also make it to the market. There was also, if we go to Armalytics Twitter, the Daniel Defense PCC is expected to receive a restricted or non-restricted, depending on the barrel length, classification as well. One other gun that I want to bring in mind is the Daria 9mm PCC. This thing, Daria has been showing this thing off on their social media for like a year. I think it was last shown at the last SHOT Show. This thing was very obviously designed before C-21, so this thing should also be making it to market. And we can go on and on and on and on and on. But the gist is, we are not quite as boned as we originally thought. It's still not good, don't get me wrong, but we will not be as screwed by, limited market compatibility or market availability and stuck with Canadian manufacturers. I would think once we reach SHOT Show 2025, so next year's SHOT Show, that's when the cutoff probably hits where we probably aren't getting anything new. Because at that point, they would have had to have been in their final design process for over a year. And I just don't think that's to be expected. But any gun that seemingly, It doesn't have to deal with the FRT. So any gun you can think of that is available in Europe or the United States or anywhere else in the world that can be imported and has existed before December 15th can be non-restricted or restricted in Canada, regardless of this definition. This definition so far only appears to prohibit guns that we don't even know about. Like the stuff at SHOT Show, probably none of it is prohibited yet. Unless it is a very strict prototype and not the final design. Maybe that would be prohibited. But we just don't know. So, bit of a rambly video. If you put it on the background, probably the perfect thing for this, to be honest. But some good news in some not ideal circumstances. But that is it for this short update. Thank you for watching. I will have the GHM9 overview video out on Wednesday, the first of the overview review cycle videos that will come out this year. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.